In this worksheet, in the video, I'm going to talk about how to convert from word equation to formula equations. Okay, so there are some notes I want to mention. First of all, ionic compounds are always solid. Ionic compounds are always solid unless they say something else. Okay, now in order for you to write a balanced chemical equation for the word equation, like this kind of word equation, you have 4 steps. So the first step is you want to write all the chemical symbol and formula for all elements and compound. Now the element, we can have just regular element like iron, Fe or C, carbon. Element, I can also have diatomic elements right here, so I'm going to talk about it in a second. Now compound, I have 2 kind of compound. I have ionic, which is crossover, so we need to underline, red underline, okay, with 2 separate underline, meaning that I have the plus and minus, so I have to cross over. I also have covalent compound. Covalent compound, I'm going to use in black box. Covalent compound, I don't have to do any crossover. I just write down the formula. So that's step 1. Now step 2, I need to include all the states of matter: solid, liquid, gas, aqueous, and precipitate. So what are they is in this box. Solid, I can have solid, metal, powder. And liquid is L, and gas, I can have gas or vapor. And AQ stand for aqueous, aqueous. And besides aqueous, I will also see some word like solution, soluble, acid and base. So they all use AQ. And precipitate meaning use there's the solid product left over in the double displacement. Now you don't have to know what this is, okay? Later on we will show you what that means. You just need to know PPT stand for precipitate. And step 3, we need to add some connection symbols. So connection symbol is like the plus or the arrow. Like when you write the equation, you always have the plus and arrow and plus. Those are called the connection symbol. So when you see the word and, when you see the word reacts with, when you see comma, you will use plus. Okay, when you see the word and reacts with or comma, you will use plus. And then when you see to yield, to produce, to form, you will use arrow. Okay, there's another kind of arrow you want to use is when you see the word decompose, we will use also arrow. Now decompose is decomposition. We start with 1 reactant, we end up with 2 or 3. Okay, and then finally you balance equation. Now because I assume you know how to do balance equation, so in this worksheet I don't need you to draw the table. If you think that you're not good, you can draw the table at the end. You can do your own work, or you can do it on separate piece of paper, or you can figure out, you can simply just figure out yourself. Okay, I don't require you because I assume you know how to do that. I also have metal or non-metal. Now here the non-metal, I'm talking about non-diatomic element. For example, carbon. Okay, metal, for example, iron. This, I just write down the symbol and the state. Don't give me charge. So for example, iron, I will not write iron 2 plus, iron 3 plus. No, iron, like metal or non-metal, have no charge. Okay, iron, metal or non-metal. You want to think about, oh, if I have an iron on here, if I have an iron on here, if I put a charge on it, I get shocked. That's not what happened. Okay, so metal or non-metal, I would just write down the symbol with the state, right? And carbon, just with the carbon symbol with the state, no charge. I also give you some list of the acid, hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid. Now this acid, you're going to learn this again at the end of the year, so you don't need to remember them. I will give you the list. I also have 7 diatomic elements. Now these 7 diatomic elements must be written in the form of 2. They have different state. So when you remember, when you write down the 7 diatomic elements, try to remember how do you get that. You have to remember this in the order: H2, N2, O2, F2, Cl2, Br2, and I2. Don't jump back and forth, because if you write in this order, if you write in the order of this, the first 5 are gas. The first 5 are gas. And then the next one is liquid. And finally is the solid. So if you remember this, the back and forth jump, like jumping back and forth, you will not be able to get the state. And these diatomic elements have no charge. So when you write, you just write O2, just write F2. You don't write O2 2 minus, no such thing. When you write combustion, you always only write O2. You don't write O2 2 minus. You don't write N2 3 minus. Oh, nitrogen is 3 minus, I put the 3 minus. No, you just remember like O2, I don't put a charge on. This diatomic, no charge. Okay. Now let's I'm gonna do 2, 4, 5, and then 7 and 11, okay? So we want to use different color pen to identify what kind of compound they are. Are they ionic, covalent? Are they metal, non-diatomic element, or diatomic element, or they acid? We use different color to identify them. Then we're going to add the connection symbol. And finally, we will add the coefficient in front, do crossover for ionic, if we do, and then the state of the matter from here, okay? So we're going to do number 2. So aqueous nickel Vi nitrate. So we first recognize nickel Vi nitrate is ionic because we have metal. So we use red pen to underline twice. The first underline is positive. The second underline is negative. This indicates that I have to do crossover. Sulfuric acid, if you recognize sulfuric acid is the list of the green thing that I gave you. So we put green underline. That means we can get the names of the acid from there. And then I have nickel Vi sulfate. So nickel Vi sulfate is also a ionic. So we underline this, and then sulfate we underline that. And then the nitric acid is also a green acid from here, right? So we identify all the compound first. And then next, the connection symbol. So we first see the connection symbols we ask with. So blue, circle, and then put the plus. I also have another connection symbol is black, to yield, black, arrow. Finally, the connection symbol I have is and, I put the plus. Okay, so then now, next step is we have to write the compound name. Now, don't skip this step, okay? I have so many people, they skip the step of ionic. They skip writing the charges. So what happened? They directly jump to here. They jump to step 2. So what happened? They get the wrong formula because they did not write down the charges. They give me the wrong formula. So don't skip this step. Don't skip the first step, okay? Now, the only time when you need to show work is when you do ionic, because ionic very easy to make mistake. You need to do crossover. So you want to write down the charges, right? And other like green or like covalent, you don't need to show work, but you need to just give me the formula. So nickel Vi is Ni6 plus. Nitrate, you use a polysheet, is parenthesis NO3 1 minus. You can put the 1 because we're going to bring the number crossover. Sulfuric acid, we can find it from here, is H2SO4. Now, the only time you need to do crossover, the only time you need to do work is ionic. So we write down the charges and later we cross over. Everything else, like they are not ionic, we can just write down a formula. Nickel Vi sulfate is a ionic, so we have to write the charges. Ni6 plus, sulfate parenthesis SO4 2 minus. And the nitric acid, we get it from the list, is HNO3. Now, before you move on, I want you to notice, like in between the compound and compound, I have a connection symbol. Between compound and compound, connection symbol. Between compound and compound, I have a connection symbol. You must have connection symbol, either the plus or the arrow. If you do not have the plus here, you just put the two compound together, it doesn't make sense. Okay? So next is we gotta have 3 things. We gotta write the coefficient, we gotta write the formula, and then we write the state. Okay? So we use the box for the coefficient. And here is covalent, is ionic. You do crossover in your mind. You simplify. You check up with the 1, 2, 3. You take up everything. Give me the final formula. And that will be Ni parenthesis NO3 close 6. Okay, you cross over out your mind. And then the last thing is the state. The state, I tell you, here is aqueous. Aqueous. So that will be AQ. And then I follow through plus. And then I put a box. Right? Now again, I told you, the only thing you need to show where is the ionic. So here, H2SO4, you can just copy. And it's acid. Now acid, it is AQ. Okay? And then arrow. And then box. Again, this is ionic, so we cross over, we simplify everything, and we got Ni parenthesis SO4 close 3. And it is precipitate. So PPT plus box. We copy this again, HNO3. This is an acid, so it will be AQ. So you see that I have coefficient, I have formula, I have state, and I have a plus or arrow in between each chemical. And finally, you need to balance equation. I assume you know how to balance equation. So if you want, you can do the atomic table on the side, or you can do a separate piece of paper, or you simply know how to do it. I'm not going to ask you to do it. Spend time on it. So here, you just need to balance yourself. And the coefficient is 1316. 1316. Okay, you know how to do the balancing. All right, number 4. Now, tricarbon octahydride is a covalent, so black box. Okay, with black box. And then dioxygen gas. Now, I want you to put parentheses around the di and parentheses around the gas. What does it mean? Di and gas may not show up in my question. May not show up in my question. I will probably just say solid tricarbon octahydride reacts with oxygen. Reacts with oxygen. That's all I will say. I will not say di, I want to say gas. Then how do you know? First of all, you need to recognize oxygen is one of the diatomic elements. So when you write, you cannot just write O, you have to write O2. Just like when you do combustion, when you write combustion, you don't write O, you write O2, right? O2. And also, you write O2, you will not write O2 2 minus, all right? This thing, no charge. You just write O2, F2, Cl2, Br2. Here, diatomic, no charge, okay? And then second thing is, how do I know that if I did not tell you the gas? Well, because I told you recognize the 7 diatomic in this order, and oxygen will be gas. So again, I will not tell you Cl is a gas. I will not tell you iodine is a solid. You recognize this by the 7 diatomic in the order, and then the first 5 will be gas, and then liquid, and then solid. Okay, so this dioxygen is a diatomic, so we get a blue underline. And then carbon dioxide is a covalent, so black box. And then water is also covalent, black box. And then next we get the connection symbol. I have react with, so blue plus. I have to produce, so black arrow. And I have in, so blue plus. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to write something, okay? So tricarbon octahydride is covalent. I don't need to show charge, but I just write down the symbol is C3H8, and then plus. Oxygen, again, I may not tell you dioxygen, I just tell you oxygen. You need to recognize the diatomic element, okay? It's O2, and no charge. Don't give me O2 2 minus. It's no charge, okay? And then arrow, and then CO2, and then plus water. Okay, you double check. Between compound, I have connection symbol. Now finally, we gotta write the coefficient. C3H8 is a solid, plus box, O2 is a gas, arrow, okay, and then box, CO2 gas, and then plus box, H2O liquid. Okay, so you recognize that this is a combustion. You know how to balance them, okay? And the coefficient is 1534. 1534, okay? All right, so number 5, calcium carbonate is a ionic. Hydrochloric acid is a acid, green. Calcium chloride is ionic. Carbon dioxide is a covalent. And water also is covalent. Okay, now we go back to do the connection symbol. We ask with blue plus, to yield black arrow. Okay, now here you need to be really careful. Look at it. On the product side, how many products you have? You have 3. You have calcium chloride, you have carbon dioxide, you have water. You have 3 products on the right. You have 3 products. You would imagine you will have 2 plus. 3 products will be 2 plus. Then where are the 2 plus? The first plus is coming from this comma plus. And the second plus is coming from the end plus. If you skip this plus, you will write CaCl2, CO2, 2 separate compounds without the connection symbol in the middle, which is wrong. You recognize that I have 3 products, I should have 2 plus. Next, we do crossover. Well, before we do crossover, we need to write down the charges. So Ca2 plus, parentheses CO3 2 minus, and hydrochloric acid, we can just write down the symbol, HCl. And calcium chloride, Ca2 plus, Cl1 minus, and then CO2 and water. Okay, so again, if you forgot the plus here, it won't make sense because in between the two compounds, you must have a connection. Then now we can finally write down the equation. Okay, so I cross over, I simplify, I take care of everything. I get CaCO3 and it's solid plus box HCl, and HCl is the acid, so acid will be AQ, arrow, box, CaCl2, and is AQ, aqueous, plus, box, CO2 is a gas, okay, and then plus, box, H2O is liquid. So I got like that. Okay, so finally you balance the equation. I got 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. Okay, so now let me flip to the back. So I'm doing number 7. Okay, number 7. Sodium chloride, ionic. Okay, sodium metal. Now sodium metal, just sodium, metal, nothing else. So it is a metal. It is a metal. So it's orange color. We just write down the symbol. We just write down the state, no charge. Okay, so we have orange color here. Okay, so be careful with this. And then dichlorine gas, again, I want you to put parentheses around di, parentheses around gas. So I may not give you this. I would just say decompose into sodium, metal, and chlorine. Okay, but you recognize that chlorine is a diatomic element. It's a diatomic element. And how do you know chlorine is a gas? Because I told you that if you remember the 7 in the order, the first 5 are gas. Okay, now we go back to look at the connection. Now you see the word decompose into. Decompose into, we're going to use green and then arrow. Now decompose into, this time the decomposition, okay, this kind of decomposition is 1 in 2, right? So it means I only have one reactant. I only have one reactant, which is sodium chloride. Okay, I only have one reactant. So if I have only one reactant, you should not see the plus on the reactant side. Right? Because I only have one reactant, I should not have the plus on the reactant because I only have 1 in 2. I only have one reactant. So don't put the plus right here. Nah, no plus. There's no plus here. Okay? And so let me just write this thing. So Na1 plus, Cl1 minus, and then the sodium against the metal, we don't have the charge, we don't write anything, we just write Na. And then chlorine gas, Cl2. Oh, I forgot there's a connection here. You see, I forgot the connection here. Then it won't make sense. So the connection here is the plus in plus. Okay? Now we can start to cross over. So crossover, I get NaCl, solid, decompose into box, Na. Now it's metal. Metal, the state should be solid. Okay, don't give me metal or M. Okay, no such thing. Okay, S plus box, Cl2, and it's a gas. And after I balance it, I will get 2, 2, 1. Okay? Now number 11. Zinc metal. Zinc, again, is just a metal. Okay, sulfuric acid is a acid. And the zinc sulfate is ionic. And then dihydrogen gas, I'm going to put the parentheses around the di and gas, okay? This is the diatomic, so I may not give you di and gas, okay? So connection symbol is reacts with, so blue plus. And then to U will be black arrow. And then I see plus will be blue plus. And then I'm going to start to write something. Zinc metal will be just the name, okay, just the symbol, just the state, no charge, nothing else, okay? So here I'm going to just put zinc. And then sulfuric acid was given, H2SO4. And then zinc sulfate is a ionic, so zinc 2 plus, parentheses SO4 2 minus. And then hydrogen is H2. Okay, and then I can start to write zinc metal, metal is a solid. And then plus, box, H2SO4. Now, it is a acid, so it's always aqueous, arrow, box. Here, you cross over, you simplify, you take away the wing, you take away the parentheses, and you get ZnSO4, which is AQ. It was given to you as AQ. And then plus, box, H2, and it's a gas. And if you balance them, you will get 1, 1, 1, 1.